Okay, so before we head into the video, I wanted to give you a brief guideline of the ideas we're going to be talking about in the video. So first, what we were going to do was to determine the substances that prove in the blood analysis. So in this case, in our skit, we used this concept to determine how thick the blood was and like how toxic it was. The next concept we looked at was the differentiation between the intake of alcohol and the intake of aldehyde. We use qualitative and quantitative analysis to determine the two. And our next concept is the half-life equation. In our skit, we use this concept in order to find out the time of when this our victim had taken in the substances, as well as how much time they have left before their situation gets even more critical. The next topic we talked about was fingerprinting, which was a pretty neat concept. So, by using the ester known as cyanocrylate, this detects non-porous substances, which was, in this case, the residue left from fingerprints. And by applying this ester, it then makes a white precipitate, which then, if you take tape or anything else sticky and collect collect the fingerprint, it would then you could actually see the fingerprint and you could differentiate who is this, what does it look like. You can have a good concept of what the fingerprint is supposed to be. So in terms of quantitative analysis, we looked at the boiling points of the aldehydes, and we looked at the freezing points of aldehydes as well. This proves in differentiating what kind of aldehyde it is. Previously, we know that it's an aldehyde, but we don't know exactly what kind it is. But through these processes, we find out that it is acetaldehyde. In terms of qualitative analysis, we determined that the color is a yellowish kind of gold. It's slightly viscous. It possesses a fruity scent and taste. Uh, and it's sort of, well, it's very volatile in its aqueous state. The acetaldehyde I'm speaking of. We know this because that unlike an alcohol or ethanol, the typical alcohol that people would drink, it doesn't have an H plus bonding, therefore making it more volatile. And we also know that it's translucent. So now our next topic, which was evident throughout the skit, was pH levels. So we used the pH levels in order to differentiate again which was which. So was it cocaine? Was it ethanol? Was it acetaldehyde? What was it? This was a critical idea that we use in order to differentiate certain substances. And the final one we talk about, the final topic, is oxidation. Oxidation was used with uh, eth- ethylene, or in other words, ethene, and by oxidizing it, so ethylene plus O2, this would make the acetaldehyde. So we get a perspective from the criminal himself, who explains his process behind how he made it and what it would look like. So without further ado, here's our skit. And what's his deal?
The patient's name is Captain Moore. He seems to be around the age of 19 years old.
And why is he in a comatose?
Well, for starters, he has a white residue in his nose. And given that it's a white type of crystal, acidity matches with pH 2.3 pH and is soluble in water and alcohol, it may be a variant of cocaine. I still have some more tests to run. Reasons why he's unconscious is still unknown. There's a witness who claims to have checked up on the person and found him on the floor.
But what's with the beer bottle? The coffee and the bruising on his forehead.
It seems as though the victim had an overdose on cocaine, and then he
when because of the overdose, he went a little loopy and he bashed his head against a wall or a table or something of those sorts. That seems to be the reason for the big bruise on his head.
Okay. Okay. I have to go another case, so give me a full report when we get back.
We'll bring it to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Come in.
Hello?
Welcome, officer.
Hi.
We seem to have found something.
Alright.
It seems though that my guess was correct, and that, as you can see here, the drug was the cause for the victim's comatose.
Okay.
Now, it seems though the drug has very similar side effects or effects as cocaine. Both these drugs clog up the victim's blood vessels, right? But nonetheless, he ingested the cocaine. But we also found that he had ingested some coffee, and it seems as though he ingested the coffee and the cocaine around the same time. Now, looking from this data, we can see that that made him go a little loopy, so he then
Formula
knocked
to
himself
calculate the half-life of substance, and knowing the quantity, we can solve for time. And bingo. Apparently this drug is not in our database, but we have seen similar cases of it around the area.
So, we just have to find the drug dealer and we have our case.
Pretty much.
Okay. Alright, thanks guys.
You guys want some of the good stuff?
The what?
Sorry, what?
You know, the good stuff, the sniff stuff.
Oh, nah, but say, have you been selling any of that to college students lately?
Why, you guys college or something?
Oh crap! Let's go.
I got it. Stop.
Okay, let's take it back to the lab.
Yep. Had to make it hard. Well, anyways, tell us about your drug.
It wasn't meant to be hallucinogen. It's barely for a bit of buzz. It does nothing to your head. It's perfectly normal, like nothing.
Yeah, well, we have someone in a coma.
That's not possible. It's not a hallucinogen though.
Guys, we have a serious problem. I think you can come and see this way, officer.
So what was so important that you guys had to interrupt?
Well, you see, this substance was never supposed to put Calvin in a comatose state. Or
Is it
poison
safe to
him.
drink that?
So it's just a simple speed.
No, only alcohol.
Well, I'll
safe
be
is this
damned.
type of ethanol. However,
This
this
morning
like
we
alcohol.
went to
Because
go
there's
see
no
Calvin's
hydrogen bonding, unlike
body,
ethanol,
right?
which has
See if
hydrogen
anything had
bonding
changed.
molecules.
And
That
luckily,
makes aldehyde
we
that
found
much
that
more
he was
volatile.
awake.
Why can't it
He was
only be
awake,
acetaldehyde?
He said he
Well,
had
we took the swab
difficulty
test
breathing.
and
He said he had
cooled it
difficulty breathing,
and
right?
froze it at
So he
minus
went
113
along with
degrees
standard
Celsius.
procedures.
It
We gave
possessed
him
a
a couple
pH
tests.
of
Blood
7.05,
test,
I
swab
believe, and
test.
it was a yellowish color in the solution
And we
state.
found
It also had a fruity taste and was not viscous and was translucent as well as had the behaviors of an aldehyde once we discovered the previous details.
Using the ester known as cyanose crylate esters, by using the fumes, it then detects the non-porous fingerprints, which then makes them visible as the color white. Though wear
The
goggles,
victim
gloves,
snorts
and a
the
face
drug,
mask because it
has
becomes
coffee,
hazardous to
whichever
eyes,
comes
nose,
first.
and
the
skin.
coffee came first, according
Alright,
to our
we'll get on
calculations.
that.
of the half-life.
Anyways, he takes a drug, then he drinks this acetaldehyde, then goes loopy, and then passes out.
He knocks himself out.
Wait, so did you guys get any prints off the bottle that he had?
How do we do that? So we used the fumes and we found a fingerprint for Mr. Jackie Chan. Here's the address. I can't seem to find Sudman, but I'm sure he'll turn up somewhere.
So this was an attempted murder?
Most likely. According to the witness testimonies, the beer bottle found on the victim's porch was the same as yours found at the crime scene.
Huh. So it wasn't the drugs, it was the acetaldehyde that put the victim into a coma?
Yes. Because of this is most likely attempted murder then.
Let's get this guy.
If you hadn't found the poison when you did, I'm sure it would have killed him in a couple hours.
So what are we supposed to be looking for?
One thing I did not expect you guys to do is identify my fingerprints using an ester.
Yeah, I think so.
So here's how I did it. First, I oxidized ethylene to produce acetaldehyde. I chose this chemical because it boils and evaporates at room temperature.
I didn't do it.
Truth. Why'd you do it?
One phone call.
Yeah. You know who you want to make it out to?
Yeah, I know.
Alright.
Yeah? Boss, listen. They found me out. They're coming for you next. You better run. Quick.
No, I'm leaving now.